My name is Dan Dorval, and I'm President and CEO of Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. I am an independent certified financial planner and author of my book, Financial Success for the Rest of Us, Reality-Based Financial Planning for Mainstream America.
Hi, my name is Leah Woodley. I'm an associate financial advisor with Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. Our conversations discuss what it means to do quality of life planning in all areas of your life. Dan, you've recently taken up pickleball as a hobby. You seem to have been enjoying it, but I know that you got injured. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, the pickleball craze got us because we've got a court that is walking distance from us, and there's a big group of people that play, and it's been really good to be able to have that opportunity for some socializing, get moving, doing all that type of thing. But as it turns out, sitting a lot and then all of a sudden going out and playing a game where you do a whole lot of quick movements and lunges and things like that, all of a sudden I started to get some tendonitis in my Achilles, which apparently is an extremely common injury in pickleball. There's articles out there describing just how much the local emergency rooms are filling up with pickleball injuries. And then I ultimately ended up getting a calf strain, and that was a little bit more serious. So you can Google all of these different things. And of course, they'll talk about different stretches and, different things that you can do. But, putting that all together isn't that easy. So I have kind of a privilege because with my ankylosing spondylitis condition, I have a private physical therapist that does dry needling for me. And so when I went in to see her, I said, "Hey, I'm having these issues." And she goes, "I see this constantly with, a lot of my people who are playing pickleball." And she goes, "You're probably doing this and this and this." And I go, "Yep." And she goes, "That's not what you should be doing." So a couple of those things. Number one is, people talk about stretching. And you go online and you say, how do I stretch my Achilles? How do I stretch my calf? And there's all these different stretches. And she goes, if you're statically stretching, you're probably contributing to the inflammation and some of the other issues, even if you're doing it after you're warm and after you've been doing this stuff. She goes, what you really need to do is strengthen those muscles and the Achilles as you're stretching. And so she like added another layer to it. So Googling it doesn't mean that it was wrong or whatever, but it was like she added another layer because she has that expertise. And then of course she did dry needling on my calf, which was, something I can't do, the average person can't do. And that helped a lot. But she also talked about, as soon as you get injured, everybody's going, oh, well, you should ice it, or you should heat it, or you should compress it or elevate it, the whole rice thing when you have an injury. And she's like, this is how you ice it. This is how you do these things. Then eventually you'll use warmth instead of ice. Like she knew how to put all the puzzle pieces together. And then it was amazing how quickly I ended up coming back from those things. And now, of course, it's made playing a lot better because I just have less pain.
Right. Wow. So it sounds like she was able to put those puzzle pieces together, add some context to the action steps that she was giving you, and that helped to alleviate your situation. And that's kind of what we do. It's like we're taking individual pieces of someone's life and we're putting those puzzle pieces together so that we can provide them with a different perspective and actionable steps that are specific to their situation and that add context and perspective that they wouldn't have otherwise received by just Googling or by following social media advice.
Well, and that's the thing, we have all these people come in and see us and they go, well, they say, and I, right away I'm like, who are they? But they'll be, they've heard it somewhere, friends, family, coworkers, the internet, social media, all those things. And so they get these tidbits kind of thrown at them. And of course, financial planning has a lot of complicated pieces to it. So those tidbits start to get overwhelming. And it's like, well, should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? And so many times I'll get questions and I'll be like, yes, the tidbit is okay. There's nothing wrong with the information that you got, but it doesn't apply to you in any way, shape, or form. Like just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. So, Roth conversions. Should I do Roth conversions? And it's like, well, the rules are yes, you could do them, but in your situation, maybe it doesn't apply. Like maybe it just doesn't matter. So that expertise of looking at the big picture of saying, okay, it's more complicated than just saying, taxes or Social Security or, Roth conversions or whatever, putting that in the context of quality of life and saying, here are the action steps that would make a lot of sense for you specifically. That goes so far beyond what people are getting right now from, Googling things or AI or, all of that.
I completely agree with you. And I imagine if you go back to your pickleball injury, perhaps if you would have just followed Google advice, it could have been detrimental to the situation and made your injury even worse. And I think that's the same with financial planning. Sometimes, if you were to follow just the general generic advice that you're given on social media and in the news and things like that, it may end up being more hurtful to your situation than helpful.
Yeah, and you think you're doing the right thing. I heard it somewhere. It makes sense. And a lot of that stuff, like even on my pickleball stuff, I was Googling this stuff. These people are physical therapists or they're, some sort of healthcare practitioner. And yet they're telling you this stuff and you go, oh, I should do that. But then I talked to her and she goes, yeah, I know you saw, you probably read this. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And she goes, no, there's more to it than that, especially in your situation.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important for our viewers to remember and to keep in mind that your unique situation is different than the next person. So you definitely want to make sure you are getting advice that is related to your specific situation. Anything you want to add, Dan?
No, it's just pickleball is really, really hard.
I'll
You
have to
look
try it one day.
you look at this sport and it's great in some regards because like you can have older people and younger people play together and have it be competitive. You can have men and women play together and often have it be very competitive. So it's great for bringing people together, but it's so different from anything that I've done that it's definitely been a learning experience. But it's a great way to get outside and get activity, that I normally don't get.
Well, sounds like fun. I will have to try it one day. Try not to get injured, but
Well,
but thank you.
you're a lot younger than I am, so maybe that might help a little bit.
Hopefully. Well, thank you again for sharing, and I encourage our viewers to tune in next time for more quality of life topics. Don't
Thanks,
forget to
Leah.
like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you, Dan. All right.